Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, depending what time you're watching today's show. Welcome to Natasha 0010 on the Edge. And today's guests are very classical guests. We have the topic of the show today is the architecture and classic cars. To my left is an incredible and fabulous artiste by the name of Harold Clayworth.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
And to my right, we have the incredible architect from United States, Lucien T. Hood III.
Hello, Natasha.
Thank you for coming.
And Harold.
Well, it's a great joy to have both of you here because I
Thanks.
have the most incredible talents in the scientific world as well as in medium world. Harold, we'll start with you,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Tell me something. You have worked, you are known as a local Venice artist
Yes, yes. My studio's in Venice right here.
in classical automobiles.
That's my subject of choice, yes.
Now, you have started that genre of, as an artist, how old were you?
I was in my 30s. I decided I always wanted to paint for a living.
Wow.
I always wanted to know if I could succeed or if I could make a living from what I wanted to paint.
Right.
I'd had a love for the automobile for many years, ever since I was a kid. I grew up in the north of England. My father was a
Wow.
bus driver. So, you know,
Really?
he instilled the love of machinery into me. And when I came to America in the 70s, I said, okay, I'm not going to work for a living anymore.
Right.
I'm going to paint what I want to paint.
Right.
And when you move to America, you see things, of course, with a fresh pair of eyes. I saw the American 50s classic car for
Right.
the first time. You know, the 59 Cadillacs with the outrageous
Wow.
fins on them, absurd creatures
Right.
driving down the streets. Decided to paint one of them. I opened a studio in San Francisco and sold my first print and my first painting there. And that was 30 years ago, and I'm still doing it.
And you're still doing it.
Who knew it would have gone? So I guess I found my niche in life. I'm a lucky man. I do exactly what I want. I paint for a living, and I paint my favorite subject.
That's
I publish
fabulous.
my work. It's,
Wow.
it's a business like anything else,
Uh-huh.
the business of art. I get commissioned by people who have classic car collections, occasionally from major car companies to do a painting that they will
Wonderful.
use in their advertising.
Uh-huh.
But
And who are your most famous celebrities that you would say that buy your collected cars?
Well, people like Jay Leno have bought, I believe, some prints of mine in the past.
Right.
A lot of people, though, that I work for are not necessarily in the, they're just wealthy people who have a great love for classic automobiles. Ralph Lauren, for example, has a Bugatti that I've done several paintings
I
of.
saw that.
And,
That's
I mean,
incredible.
that's a car that's
Right.
worth $8 to $10 million, you know. In fact, next weekend, I'm a member of a group, by the way, called the Automotive Fine Arts Society.
Right. Wonderful.
And there are 25 of us from all over the world. And every year we meet at the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance and exhibit and sell our work. Hopefully sell our work, you
Sure.
know.
Of course.
And it's we're showing it to the likes of people who spend this kind of money on one automobile. It seems an absurd amount to spend on a car. Obviously, it's no longer a car when you spend $8.5 million. It's a work of art. It's something that people have sometimes in their living room. I've been to people's homes and they've had a car in the living room.
Wow, that's
It's
amazing.
it's a piece of sculpture.
Exactly.
And they are preserving those for future generations, hopefully, because.
Now
if
tell
you
us a little bit about how you really preserve a car like that, because it does take a lot of work.
Oh, it's an enormous amount of work goes into the restoration of any car. I mean, authenticity is important. You know, finding the right parts. There are people who spend literally years restoring one
Right.
car, and if parts are not available, of course, you have to have them manufactured. You know, so it's a lifetime's work for some people. You know, and
Right.
yeah, there are not a lot of people in America, but a few that are well known that will do the correct research to get the car back to its original condition. You know, so you just have to know those people, I guess.
So I guess for a girl it's diamonds, and for gentlemen it's the classic car,
Yeah,
as
yes.
they say, right?
I think so. Yes.
And I have seen actually around the world in my travels classical car shows, and I know one thing, that when you do get into those cars, it's like going back in time.
Oh, it is.
You
It's
have
wonderful.
that energy around you that you say it's so
Well,
lavish.
it's not.
elegance,
I know, and
decadent,
it's
right?
not the same anymore. You know, I mean, obviously, technically, the cars are far superior now,
Mm-hmm.
but we have, I think, to a certain extent, losing that bond that we had with
Mm-hmm.
the automobile. I mean, in the 50s and 40s, you could. I'm not a mechanic, very
Right.
particularly, but I could, to a certain extent, fix something that went wrong with my car, and that sort of gave me a closeness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's now like fridges. You go, it's broke down, dump it, get
Right.
another one. You know,
Mhm.
it's. I hope we'll continue to have that
Exactly.
passion and an ability to actually just work on our own. You know, open the hood and see
Right.
what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you love that. That doesn't happen much anymore. You know?
Exactly. I wish we could see actually more classical cars on the street.
On the street.
Today.
You do
And
in LA, which
yes,
is very
quite
nice.
a few. Yes.
It's nice to see them
It's
around.
very
yeah.
pleasant for the eye because
Absolutely.
it's like looking at a living art on four wheels.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
See, then they didn't have any problems. You know, the gas was plentiful. Sheet metal obviously was. I mean,
Right.
the designers sat down and had a blank piece of paper and just created a car. It wasn't wind tunnel testing. It wasn't aerodynamics. They
Right.
didn't have all these restrictions. They were free to produce a beautiful piece of rolling sculpture. We can't do that anymore, and it's maybe perhaps as well. I don't know, but I'm glad it happened then. I'm really glad.
Oh,
When I
it's
see them,
wonderful.
and you know, and when you see a Bugatti or something, with every
Exactly.
single part of that car.
I always call that
handmade.
the classic era of the golden age
Oh,
of
yeah.
creativity.
Oh,
in those
absolutely.
days, isn't it?
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
thank you so much,
My
Harold.
pleasure.
And now we're going to go to Lucien T. Hood III.
Oh.
I have seen some of your incredible artwork, architecturally speaking, of course.
Thank you.
And you have been recognized in Los Angeles and Houston, but actually around the United States and probably around the world with your incredible creativity. And you're very versatile in your work.
Thank you.
And tell me something about yourself. When did you start to work on the architecture? What motivated you to be an architect?
Well, I grew up in an architect family. My dad's an architect, and if you grow up in a family like that, you start very soon because the dad will say, get me this, get me that, from an eraser to a pencil, sit down and do this. So I grew up in it, and then I came to a point, is this what I want to do? And so I tried other things just to see what other things were, and I came back to it and
Really?
been with it ever since. So it's something fun, and it's a lifelong adventure. Like Harold, painting,
Right.
he's going to paint all his life,
Right.
and architecture, you can do the same.
Yes. Yeah.
And even there's some crossover. Some of his painting, he shows a car by an old garage.
Right.
So the architecture of the old garage. So it sort of plays in and
Yes,
plays
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Also period wear. So architecture is a living thing. Everybody has a house, apartment, but it's
Exactly.
personalized from their clothes to how their house is. So
Yes.
I guess it's you're always living the life.
Right.
And, so.
Now, the styles and the celebrities, mention some of the great celebrities that you worked, you created incredible pieces of energy.
Well, one everybody likes to hear about is when I was working for Harold Levitt Architect, I was the project architect for Steven Spielberg's house, and this was before he was married, so it was very eclectic. He had models from his 1941 movie. He has a projector in his living room where a screen can drop, but right behind there is a pool table. He has high ceilings. He had parrots flying around the
Really?
place. He had
Oh, wow.
stills from Dumbo he got from Disney, original stills. So he was kind of exciting, but because he's so much in demand, whenever he came to the office, he wanted to know who was working on his project.
Yes.
But he didn't want to necessarily meet and say,
Right.
interface. So I was at my desk, and I remember seeing Mr. Spielberg and the architect I worked for, Harold, and Harold goes walking back,
Oh, wow.
and he says, "Well, Stephen, it's about this far, you know, from your living to your dining."
Yes,
and he was
yes.
standing by me, and what he was really saying, "This is the guy that's going to work on your project."
Wow.
And he was really my best client because
Was he?
didn't say no to. He liked everything. So it was.
That's rare.
It was.
That's an easy
it-
client.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
interesting.
doesn't happen like that. It,
Not at
it
all.
was quick, and
That's great.
it was a fun project. And when I was at the job site, some people that worked around his house even tried to get me to babysit his parrot, because when he went out
Wow,
of town,
that's
they wanted to
funny.
go out of town, but this parrot was sort of an anchor,
Uh-huh.
and they couldn't, so they were trying to, you know, take the parrot home for the
Oh
weekend,
my gosh.
so we can go
Funny.
somewhere. But that was fun. Gary Collins and Marianne Mobley was an exciting job.
Mrs. Carson, right?
Mrs. Carson.
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. and-
Underground Turkish spa and sauna, right?
Right. So
Ooh,
a
my
couple
goodness.
went to Istanbul and stayed at a
Interesting.
hotel on a second honeymoon. Or the hotel was actually a castle, and underground they had these spas. So when they came
Right.
back, they wanted to repeat that.
I
what's-
see.
Yeah, so what's interesting about your architecture, you don't have one particular niche. You're sort of very broad
Right.
as far as your creativity is concerned, which is very unusual for an architect.
Um,
Not too many architects specialize in broad architecture. And do you utilize probably a lot of feng shui in your
I have,
creativity.
it's become very popular lately, but yes, that seems to be, and it's a logic too.
Right.
I see your feng shui with your red, black.
Oh yes,
and,
I'm a big lover of
and
feng
white.
shui.
Yeah. Important.
Yes, it is. It's a very special energy that we work with,
Mhm.
and when you deal with that, then you can appreciate the classics.
Yes, of course.
You
yeah.
can appreciate the arts, the music, and the sciences
Mhm.
of the universe
Yeah.
and the world as well. And you're sort of in tune with with the universe.
Right.
And body, mind, and spirit, as I call that. And working with art galleries, I work with different mediums
Do you? Yes.
in that genre, so I can appreciate both of you here. So I'm very lucky, I must tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to sit amongst two greatest creators, artists, and designers. So it's really
Thank you.
wonderful
Thanks,
to
thanks.
have you.
We're thrilled to be with you.
Now,
You're
I'm
quite
not
a
finished with you.
creative.
I have a few more questions to ask you. You also worked in Houston as well, right?
Sure.
Now, is that where you started your work?
Right, and came out in '66 to go to college and went back and forth, and then been out here as the home base since '76. But
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I know Houston so well, I
Mhm.
can do work out here. The one couple that retired in Houston, I did a place for them in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Never met them, it was all by phone and
Uh-huh.
fax.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Really? Yeah.
but,
And you also do hotels, right?
yes,
You did
some-
the hotel in Beverly Hills, the
Right,
Beverly
the
Carlson?
Beverly Carlton, that was actually a hotel that was built in '46, right after the war, and actually Marilyn Monroe stayed there for a while.
Oh my goodness.
And did a penthouse on the top for the
Mm-hmm.
director, Alan Zimmelman.
Mhm.
And also you worked with Xerox Electrical Optical System and NASA in Pasadena.
Right,
Is that
was,
correct?
right,
Yeah.
they had me come in to do a major remodel when Xerox bought from the original
Mhm.
inventor of
Mhm.
Xerox, which was quite exciting, because
Indeed,
it's a
yes.
closed security building, and they do
Right.
from, they did the optics on the Voyager spacecraft, they do a lot of military
Mm-hmm.
laser guidance and war games, so outer space
Sure.
also with the combined NASA programs.
Multidimensional.
So,
Science,
very.
which is also very interesting. I read an article about you that you did the new approach for out-of-town investors,
Oh, right.
and also that you can, how to design a house for less financing, right?
Right.
How to save actually
Right.
$50,000 really, is that
Yeah,
correct?
that got everybody's eye. And what it basically is if you have a one-story
Yes.
flat-roofed house, which there's a lot of them in California, and let's say you're going to add a second story, you don't really have a pitched roof that you have to take off, because that pitched roof is integral to the structural integrity. So if you had to take it off, now you have massive things you have to do structurally to the existing
Yes,
house.
yeah.
If it's a flat roof, you can go
You
up
just-
on top of it with beams and piles, not touch that.
Right,
So
yeah.
you don't impose any new load on the existing, but with the new, you'll strengthen it laterally.
I see.
So because you don't have to take off the roof and do that much
Interesting.
to the existing, there's your $50,000.
That's
So
amazing.
I'm-
so people that have these one-story flat roof houses
Yes.
that are depressed, they really should turn it around. They're way ahead of the game when they want to add on.
Right.
Very
yes.
simple,
And
very
so,
simple.
uh,
Now I know both of you are connoisseurs of Harleys, motorcycles, and you've also painted motorcycles.
Yes, I have, yes.
And Lucian rides them.
Yes.
Right.
Uh,
Now, here we have a motorcycle. I believe Mr. Clayworth, this
Right.
is your
Yeah, that's one of
your
the bike paintings.
incredible paintings that you do, which is, it looks so real. Actually, it looks like a photograph. It's amazing. It's a very special style, and it's not easy to do.
No, it's very time consuming, especially on
Yes,
a
it is.
motorcycle, because you,
Sure.
I mean, the whole of the guts of, the engine is looking
Right,
at you. I mean, at least
exactly.
with the car, it has a hood over it.
Right,
It's
right.
covered, but an engine is in use. It bears its soul to you, on a motorcycle.
That's great.
And so the work is a lot more time consuming, but it doesn't matter really how long it takes, quite frankly. It's, when it's done, it's done.
Well, you
know.
could definitely see that you have great passion for it.
I do, I
Anything
do.
that you do and paint, and,
I
and
do,
that's
it's,
stupendous. It's
I
amazing.
think when you do what you love, that's...
That's what Mozart said.
Yes,
The
it-
true genius inside is the one who does what they love to do.
Quite, yes.
Yeah,
I'm,
so it's
yeah.
great.
I-
So you're considered as genius. That's
Well,
great.
I don't know about that.
But
I just know that, it's my life's work, and it's...
that's wonderful, and you love what you do.
Yeah, of
and
course,
That's
I'm-
wonderful.
I get up and...
You're a very lucky man.
I know.
Very lucky.
I'm well aware of that. I mean, to get up in the morning and just go into... I actually paint in Venice outside. I have a tent in my
that's
garden,
wonderful.
a canopy that during the summer, because the light is the
Wow.
best. I
Of
mean,
course,
it's perfectly
right.
natural light. So I sit amongst trees in my garden,
Wow.
painting what I love.
That's amazing.
Get away with that for a living. Come on. How's that for a job?
That's wonderful. And I know I have a picture next behind my head, actually, a young girl on a motorcycle. Is that a Harley, actually?
Well, it's Indian, which
It's an
is,
Indian. I'm
original
learning.
Indian.
I'm not an expert in motorcycles, so you
And-
have to educate me about those things.
And you were thinking maybe of doing
My acrobats
acrobats and
on a motorcycle.
exercise video
Right.
on the motorcycle, similar like the ladies doing now. on the
Right,
picture.
exactly. I love that photo. It's great. Can we see it just for one moment, the background photo behind me? I don't know if you can zoom in a little closer so we see the young girl there. But I have gone to love rides previously
Yes, yeah.
in a few
Very
years
interesting,
back.
yeah. Mhm.
And I really enjoyed the energy of the motorcycles when you have 1,000 motorcycles
yes.
going. It's just like so incredible. It's like
Mhm.
the engines of a jet
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
getting together and they're just about to take off.
Uh-huh.
And I just love the entertainment and the promotion that they do and just the energy of freedom and you sort of get in touch with yourself. You feel like you're an Indian riding. in-
Indeed, a horse. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, I'm going to be learning how to ride actually on a big one, one of those cruisers.
Are you?
Mhm.
Yes, I'm going to
Splendid.
try because usually I ride with someone. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I do enjoy it. I think it's a special art to be able to express yourself and get in touch with your spirit. It's wonderful.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's very popular actually sport in Europe.
Mhm.
In Russia, in Germany, in France, Italy, and some of the Scandinavian countries, and England as
Mhm.
well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's incredible. I
Um,
enjoy it very much. So you have to teach me how to
Sure.
do that,
Sure, love to.
how to enjoy
Yeah.
the
Speaking
ride.
of Russia and that 41 Harley, on Russia's move into Berlin, they had, I think it was 30,000 Harley motorcycles
Gosh.
on the push. As I
Wow,
was
isn't
watching
that
history,
amazing?
and that's the first I had heard
Is
of
that right?
And so that would be interesting to see some old
Yes.
videos of
Yes,
the
yeah.
Russians riding Army Harleys
Oh,
on the
sure.
move towards
Indeed.
Berlin.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Good
So,
heavens.
and I imagine all those 30,000 Russians became Harley enthusiasts.
I have no doubt.
Right.
Yes, they are. It's amazing. I mean,
Uh-huh.
what they're doing. But yeah, it's a great, I guess, leisure
Mhm.
where you can actually
Well,
relax.
if
and-
you say
And get wild.
overworked, let's say on a Sunday morning it's quiet,
Mm-hmm.
and the next thing you know you're cruising along the coast looking out in the ocean, you just hear the motor, humming along. It's
Right, yes.
very tranquil, and you
Right,
kind
right.
of
Indeed.
go into peaceful meditation almost.
Yes.
And you get this example, sea breeze, and so it's in this society to be able to do something quick like that and feel like you went to out of town.
Mhm.
It's like going
Right.
out of town and back. It's,
Sure.
That's
that's
great.
what gives it a
Yeah.
lot of
Were
enjoyment.
you ever thinking of creating like a cruise around the United States with classical cars
Oh boy.
and the
And
motorcycles
motorcycles.
and go and visit different areas of
Mhm.
rich and glamour and very
Right.
sophisticated
Right. Right.
trips. and
They do
things
that.
like
The motorcycle clubs will have
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
national events and
Around
they'll
the
select.
world.
And the
Yeah.
car clubs as
Yeah.
well, they do.
It would be great to go to all the European castles with the classical
Oh, yeah.
car
Yeah.
tours and the motorcycles. I
Yeah,
think that would be a
indeed.
great venture,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
And actually maybe do a concert,
Mm-hmm.
with classical
wonderful.
cars and have an opera event.
Oh, yeah.
opera. I think it would be wild.
Yeah.
So, so tell me a little bit more about yourself and your designs. I know you've been
Oh,
going
well,
through some of your
well, this
creative work.
this is something that maybe reflects Harold. This was an individual.
Can we see that on the monitor?
This is a addition I did to a house, and they wanted like an Italian courtyard because he has an Alfa Romero race car. So this is individual. They built the whole wing because they wanted to enjoy the drive court,
Right.
which is unusual, and with their antique car. So this
Oh,
is something they
great.
would commission Harold to have their a big painting of their Alfa
That's
Romero in their
amazing,
office
right.
in the house.
In their own garage. Yes.
So,
I once did a painting where I was able to reflect the man's home in
Oh,
the hood of the
wonderful.
car.
Wow.
Because when you pulled it, it was
Oh,
very similar to that,
marvelous,
where
marvelous.
the Ferrari came out from under the house,
Uh-huh.
and when it's coming out, it was a red Ferrari. You saw his the top section of his house
Oh,
reflected
wow.
in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I painted.
And-
I do a lot of reflective. I work with the reflective surface of
Oh,
the
that's
automobile.
wonderful.
And when he got the painting, he goes, "Good God, I've got two paintings in
Two
one
for
here,
one."
one of my home and one of my car." you know.
Right.
So it created a wonderful composition and also gave me something to get my teeth into. I like
Right.
detail. I like to,
That's
and
wonderful.
Harold did a painting for a 44 Indian motorcycle for me, and it was down in Venice by the canals.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And he put in landscape, so it could have been from 1944
It
to
could have been anywhere,
present,
yeah.
any time.
Sure, yeah.
So we got the
Uh-huh.
Venice canals, the motorcycle, and then you enjoyed some of the houses
Oh, yeah.
that you particularly liked
I've
down
just finished
there.
some woodies, which I've been
Wow.
really interested in 1940s woodies. In fact, the first couple of paintings that I did, I actually, of the woodies, I painted them on wood veneers.
Oh,
I
marvelous.
chose, it's exactly the same kind of wood that was used on the cars.
Ah,
And then inlaid them on the side. You
Mm-hmm.
can see, it was a really interesting approach. I don't know if you can see
oh,
this,
that's
but
beautiful.
Can we
the-
zoom in on with the camera on that photo?
this is some Mercury woodies. And if you can see, everything was inlaid. All
Wow.
those side, just like the, there we are, yeah.
There we
yeah.
are.
Yes.
Lovely.
This was done on maple and mahogany veneers.
Wow.
And the rest
That's
was hand-painted
beautiful.
around it. So wood is on wood.
Oh,
Hmm.
That is
And
absolutely
it was a nice different
magnificent.
approach, you know,
Exactly,
to
yeah.
the same subject.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I have few more questions, Lucien.
Okay.
You were going to tell me something about the other event that you worked on regarding charity. Do you get involved in the charitable events?
I have. My main one is a child help out in Beaumont, which Joanna Carson's a big, large, she put on a benefit at the Playboy Mansion, and that's when I first became aware of it. So pretty much anything and everything I do. Example, I did some work for Normandy Bakery, and instead of the fee, I had her give the kids French pastries, and it's
Oh,
for
how nice.
abused children. So,
Well,
Is it?
so,
Oh, wow.
so having something different from
Mm.
like French pastries, it gives them a little break
Quite.
in their life. You know, a little.
Yeah.
well,
Yes,
next
yeah.
time
But,
I'll introduce you to the
okay.
Austrian bakery.
Okay,
Because
marvelous.
I'm part Austrian as
Oh,
well,
marvelous.
and Hungarian, so
Oh,
in
great.
Russian. But if you ever get a chance, it's a wonderful bakery.
Okay, would love to.
And it
love
would
to.
be nice to create a festival with classical cars and also all these different international pastry shops, you know, like you have in Europe.
Oh, that.
The events with
We'd love that here.
different cafes and teas and etc.
Huh?
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
I
you
really
for
enjoyed
having us.
both of you. You were
Pleasure.
absolutely charming.
Well, thanks.
Charming and classical and inventive and scientific and creative.
Hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed immensely the show as much as I have, being with two great talents on an international level, actually. And I hope to see you soon. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending what time you're watching. Thank you for coming to Natasha 0010 on the Edge. God bless, big kiss, and I hope to see you soon.